All right, welcome back, YouTube. So in today's video, I'm going to go over the fact that Doge is pretty much just broken above the trend. We were expecting either a continuation or a possible set of a new, pretty much the possible start of a new trend if the old lines weren't going to be respected. We have crossed that point, and it looks like we have already broken above the previous downtrend. So at this point, you can pretty much consider the previous one invalid. So hello. Just let me know if you can hear me. Hold on. I'll type it in here just in case. I never want to feel like an idiot talking to myself on here if something's wrong with the volume. So yeah, so pretty much we have. Okay, you can hear me perfect. So yeah, so pretty much we have the start of a new trend here. So this is actually pretty exciting because we pretty much like immediately started climbing, like right when we were coming across this consolidation point, and literally have some red in here, but we literally started climbing and broke the previous trend. So going forward, this is the start of something new. So we're going to have to chart this differently now. We've been following the previous projection. If you've been following my channel, we've been following it for a few months now, actually. So it took a little longer to get to, because we expected some sideways movement. It took a little longer to get to the axis, but we have now crossed that point, and we have, I want to say, almost immediately broken trend. So we're at like 12.4 right now, which is actually great. We didn't continue that downward trend down to like 10 or 11, because technically speaking, we're going to have a lot of pressure to continue that trend. We had to take a lot of selling pressure to continue that downward trend like that. So we are at the start of something new here. Going forward here, we're going to have to, I say give this a few more days before we can start seeing like some patterns start forming. But the good news is this yellow line is actually our 21-day moving average. So the last time we peaked above our 21-day moving average was March 1st and February 15th, February 16th. So now we are officially above pretty much officially above our moving average. So if you want to say like 2.5 weeks to, I'll say like 2.5 weeks to like maybe a month since the time before that, I'll say 2 to 4 weeks really, before we get our 21-day moving average. So this is very great. Can we go up to 20? I don't think the catalyst is there for it just now. We may have a spike, but depending on what's going on in the market, we still don't have any resolutions, right? So we're still, so no more 20K Bitcoin. No. Bitcoin is forming a double top as well. So pretty much this downward trend is pretty much happened because we have this double top here. It doesn't matter that, yeah, I know shorts caused it, but it doesn't matter. The pattern says that, if you have a spike and then you have a marginal decrease in a rejection and you get confirmation on the next downtrend that's lower than the previous spike, typically that indicates a bearish move. And I'll take a look at it in a moment here for you, but you can see a similar pattern in Bitcoin. And remember, before we start saying, okay, the markets are going to rally, new all-time high, we're going to have to resolve some of the bigger picture here, some of the issues in the bigger picture, which is going to be, okay, is this 0.25, this 0.25% rate hike, is it going to work? Is it going to be effective? How is the market going to fare without QE? When we look at the meeting with Jerome Powell, he left it very open to saying that, okay, we may have the potential to have to increase rate hikes, or to, we have the potential to have like these next 6 or 7, but we may increase the percentage. We may have to go to like 0.5%. This 0.25% may not work. And if we look at the price of gas and stuff like that, and the Russia-Ukraine situation, we know for a fact that the CPI numbers gas is starting to come down a little bit now, but overall it's still up. And we know the CPI numbers for next month are going to be nasty. So when we look at that, they may say, okay, let's give it another month or something to see what the 0.25% is going to do. It's still like a lot of unknown stuff out there. And in the Russia-Ukraine situation, doesn't appear to be going to be resolved anytime soon. So, it's still a lot of uncertainty out here. So these are some of the major catalysts that's going to kind of keep people on edge and kind of prevent people from people, institutions from like going gun ho into the market. And we also have to look at the NASDAQ, look at the S&P, look at SPY, stuff like that. And you'll start to get these indicators. We're hitting we're hitting bearish territory on several of them. Don't forget the NASDAQ, I think it peaked at 21%. I know it got confirmed to be a bear market. We're pretty much flirting with bear market territory here because they rally a little bit, but we have to keep an eye on the macro and look at what's going on in other markets, because we definitely hit bearish territory. So let me show you. Take a look at Bitcoin. So, like I said, this is a double top here. This is what formed this pattern here. You have this pattern here. I think it's like 72% chance of it being respected, that we had that downward trend. And I want to show you something here, because Bitcoin, if I'm not mistaken, it's showing it's pretty much formed a double top and then it's formed another one, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to have to see, because we have one that could potentially form here. And so pretty much what we're waiting for is the confirmation, but it would have to break, let's see, what is this, 37,227. And it's coming down, testing it, but it has not broken it to confirm that just yet. So if we get rejected off of the 45 mark again, then we're definitely, I don't even care what anyone says at that point, we're definitely going into a bearish move. But we're going to have to see, because we have a little uptick here. We've been here before. What is this? 42,531. So we're going to have to see. This one's still playing out, so maybe it's still a little early to call it, but we definitely have some this potential double top here as well. But we're getting rejected off of the 200-day moving average. That's this red line here, the 200-day moving average. Previously we got rejected off of the 72. That's this purple line. We're marginally above it right now. But if we do continue to rise up, we're going to have to see what it does around, what is this, like the 44,000 range. So another couple grand, we're going to see how it responds to the 200-day moving average. Because I want to point this out, the 200-day moving average for Bitcoin is coming down. And Bitcoin has not been above the 200-day moving average since December 28th. So we are talking about, so pretty much Bitcoin has not been above its 200-day moving average this entire year so far. So we're going to have, this is going to be really telling here if we're able to, if Bitcoin is able, pretty much it's going to be very telling for, I guess, the short term in the crypto market, to see if this is going to be able to break past that 200-day moving average. So this is, if we have that breakdown here, then yes, the next level of support, fear in the market, we can definitely get down into those 20s, Kyle. So I'm sorry I was really long, but I just wanted to show you what I was seeing in the charts currently. Let's see. It's been 9 years. How much analyst does it need? We're one of the smartest people on the planet supporting it. Oh, I guess he was responding to this guy. So Doge is slowly getting mass adoption, especially with governments and acknowledge Doge such as Ukraine. It would be interesting to see how our community supported AMC. Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the bigger, definitely one, I believe long term, it's one of the biggest catalysts that we're going to have going forward. Hit that like button, helps the channel out. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Let's see, take some questions. So how do you guys feel about breaking the trend immediately? I'm going to go through the comments here. I'm just catching up. Let's see. And yet the price is a joke. Make sense of that, please. Well, when you say the price is a joke, you're going to have to, because I think a lot of times people get caught up in like the micro. And again, Doge has done nothing abnormal as far as for price action, the timing of the price action, the percentage of corrections with the price action. It's done nothing abnormal that would say, okay, well, this is alarming to me. Like I gave the parameters for what would be alarming to me. Alarming to me would be if Doge was blowing past these levels of support that technically it should have had some resistance against, like in like 12 cents, the 16 cents was the pretty much we have some support there going, or resistance there on the rally, 25 cents, the strong reaction that we have when it breaks below the 12 cents historical marker. Like these are all things that I would expect. Now, if we simply would have, sold off at like, let's say 74 cents and just literally had that nosedive and started blowing through all those previous supports levels. It got to 25 cents and then it just crashed through the floor down to like 6, blew through like 3 support levels. Yeah, at that point, we're looking at it like a pump and dump, something to be afraid of. But Doge is getting the bounces where it's supposed to. It's trending where it's supposed to. It's correcting in the percentages. It's done nothing abnormal for me to be like, oh, okay, this is something abnormal. And trust me, like I have other like investments and stuff like that. So it's not like I do believe in Doge, but it's not at the point where it's just like, okay, I'm going to like blindly, just be like, oh yeah, Doge, let's, no matter what's going on. If I see something alarming, I'm going to convey it. So I gave those parameters. So if the bottom line for Doge, and even if it starts to like threaten a full retrend, that would be at around 6 cents. And we haven't gotten anywhere near that. So I'm still heavily involved with Doge. And I believe that Doge is going to do a lot better on the next bull run. Let's see. Thank you. No problem, Kyle. So yeah, right, Joke. It was like, yeah, it would definitely. And I think that's a lot of times. Well, see, the thing about it is, people last year, when we look at the overall crypto market, people got used to that, like in these coins, like mooning and just like that. People like, I think that it's going to take some time for people to realize that's not normally how a market works. It's not normal for that type of liquidity to even be in the market. And now that we're having it extracted, we're going to have a lot of people that are going to be disappointed about these price actions and the timing that it takes for these coins. So, but yeah, when something's less than a penny, like a year ago, and you're up, the coin overall is up thousands of percent. I forget how many thousands. I have to do like some math, but I know it's up like at least 4 figures percentage wise. And this was just a year ago. I think that people are expecting that to happen like every year or every few months or something like that. Like macro certainly affects the micro. So just be patient, my friends. Let's see. Sold Doge at 11.15, thinking it would go down to 8 or 9 cents. Now I don't want to buy it at 12.5. Oh, because it's slightly higher than what you sold. Yeah, I understand. So the thing about it is percentage wise, and if we have the further breakdown to get closer to the 6 cents, the catalyst, depending on like some of the macros, are there, so it could potentially get a breakdown of that range. But the question is, how quickly or how long would it stay down there? Because we can hit those numbers, but it could be something like a flash crash. So you're going to have to be careful with that, trying to time it and say, oh, okay, well, I'm going to get back in at 8 or 9, because it may be there for a few minutes. Technically, yeah, we hit those numbers, but there's a lot of people out there. It's like 8 or 9 cents. I'm in, because most of my coins are purchased at around 5 cents, and I know a lot of people are still holding because the people that got in like January, February of last year, they've been in the green this whole time. Like I'm still in the green right now. So if we get closer to my average, I'm able to buy a lot of coins without moving it so much. So you have to think about the people that are sitting that low and who will probably take advantage of that. And then of course you'll get price action going back the other way. So I say just be careful, because it's hard to say if we're going to get like that spike back down. I don't know if you took a profit at 11.5, but just be careful and make sure you have like some alerts. I'm not sure what platform you're using, but make sure you have like some alerts so that you can move quickly. Let's see, Doge One mission. I have been feeling Elon was set up for launch April 20th for the memes. That'll be great. That will be great. So Dave, I'm still putting money aside for the low prices in Doge. In your opinion, should I just buy in now? Well, I can't tell you when to buy in. I just like to tell you what I'm doing, what I like some practices. But setting money aside, I believe, is great, and I do believe that you don't know what your DCA is and stuff like that, or how much money you have, but I do believe that if you're long on something and you're not satisfied with your current coin count, you can just spread that out and not necessarily go all in, because we don't know. Like, there's a lot of things that, again, there's still a lot of unknowns. The Russia-Ukraine situation could escalate. We could, the Fed's going to come out next month and be like, hey, that 1/4%, it did absolutely nothing. We're looking at 0.5% the rest of the year. Or matter of fact, we're projecting a recession. We're actually going to start QE again and then start a slow weaning process. Like, it can literally spike this thing like either way. There's so many unknowns. So I would say if you have like a stack of cash or whatever, just slowly, come into like the market and just save like that lump sum just, for like, like pretty much like you're doing for some of the lower prices, because there's certainly some catalyst there that can shock the market and get, so we can see greater to the downside. So we're not out of the, I just say we're not out of the fire just yet. Let's see. So David, before that, it was 8 years long on a 0002. So yeah, price is a joke compared to May 2021. Yeah, but you're going to have to look at a lot of the other coins in that retrospect and look at the percentage of returns. Like, so if you look at the overall percentage, like look at some of the coins that's been around for like 5+ years. Look at like your Bitcoins or like your Ethereum, and look at like those first few years, and not just price, but percentage. And you'll see that Doge is, especially percentage wise, but just because it's a cheaper coin, well, you'll see that Doge is, it's doing really well compared to like those first, like few years and stuff like that, especially after hitting mainstream, because ultimately you don't have your big break until you hit mainstream. Like Bitcoin didn't have its really, big upside until it went mainstream. Ethereum didn't have its big upside until it went mainstream. Doge didn't hit its it took a little longer for Doge, obviously, but Doge didn't have its big upside until it hit mainstream. Like you're not going to have like those huge rallies unless, people know the coin exists and there's a catalyst for it. So it's not going to, it may time wise, yeah, I guess you can say, okay, it took longer for Doge, but percentage wise and charting it and stuff like that, it's doing everything it's supposed to. Smash the like button. Thank you. Absolutely. Let's see. Do you think Dogecoin can reach 22, 25 cent in April? It's, I mean, it depends on like the catalyst. And again, that 22 to 25 cents, that's a dangerous area historically for Doge on the last two tests. Let me show you, because technically speaking, that range that you just gave is where shorts come out of like, I don't know, every crack and crevice that they can to try and stump Doge out. So this is, what is this? 22 cents right here and 21.5 here. So I forget what this one was back in December, but I know this is with the Elon Tesla merch announcement. And I did a video showing the increase in shorts, and it was just unbelievable, the volume of shorts that came in to pretty much kill that price action. So when we can possibly have another retest, which is what I would like, because if we break through that, then we're certainly the next level of resistance. Let's see, we break this. Yeah, so we're looking at, I think, 30 cent. Yeah, because so technically before, what would happen is if we broke down below that, before we start getting like those massive shorts, when we come up to test, we'd come back up to, yeah, around 33 cents. Let's see. Yep. So yeah, like around 33, 34 cents. That was our test line before. And now, so now pretty much the shorts are trying to keep it below here. So we break above that 22, 25 cents level. Our next level of technically that we should see some resistance should be around 34 cents. So if the catalyst is there, if we have that big upward movement, that's going to be the battleground, that range that you just gave, Michael. So whether that's in conjunction with the AMC catalyst or the Doge 1 mission, that's going to be the battleground. So it's going to be really hard to say, especially time it for April, because again, we have a lot of news that's going to come out, and one of it we already know is negative, and that's the CPI numbers. So unless it's just pure retail money that's rallying the coin, I'd probably say April will be too soon. But in any case, that's going to be the levels to watch. So that 22, 25 cents, that's going to be really, really important for us to break through. So we'll have to kind of, and anytime we break above 18 cents, typically we run to that range. So despite what catalyst is propelling Doge at that point, if we get to 18 cents, go ahead and start keeping an eye on the shorts. Obviously, I do it here as well, but just for your own charting, you go ahead and keep an eye on the shorts, because at around 18 cents, that's when you see like those shorts start rising. So yeah, so we hit 18. That's the run to like 21, 22. Shorts come in heavy. That's where we're going to have to fight the breakthrough. But April, I think, maybe, depending on the catalyst, again, because we're going to get a lot of reports back in April. So, but it may be too soon to say that for April. Let's see. Do you think it's possible for every coin to be in a bull run except Dogecoin? I mean, technically, yeah, that's possible. Especially if the community were scattered, or they decided to simply move on to other investments, lost faith in it. Yeah, it's certainly possible. Just because the market goes into a bull run doesn't mean that Doge necessarily has to go into a bull run. What it indicates that what happened, what the indicator is when that happens, is that okay, Dogecoin is obviously still has community support and it's still trending with the market, which is really good. So that's you can almost consider that like a checkup on the health of the coin. But technically speaking, yeah, that's entirely possible for the market to move on without Doge. But we'd have to have a breakdown in community and support in order for that to happen. Let's see. Let's see. If you do the math, it already exists well over 13 years. Doge's kind of been there since the beginning. What do you think price would have been way higher now? I will. I know you're adding it someone else. I'll chime in on this as well. 'Cause I think I think a lot of people have this kind of question. So the issue primarily with Doge is because of what Doge represents, and we've had a lot of even famous people come out publicly because we know that they're typically trying to recruit support for like their actions. They'll come out publicly and be like, "Oh, hey, I'm shorting this coin," because the negative press has the same effect as positive press. Positive press, you can generate bullish stuff, and if you come out real negative, or if you're a prominent investor, well-known investor, and you come out publicly and say, "Hey, I don't like this coin for X, Y, and Z. I'm going to short this coin." You're following these people that come out. I'm not going to say any names, but these people that come out, their followers are going to be like, "Oh my God, he doesn't like the coin. I don't like the coin either. I'm going to start selling." So and they've already, this is one of the things, I guess, I don't know if you can say if it's necessarily market manipulation, but this is one of the things that typically what happens is they've already gone short on the position. So they'll go short first, and then they'll come out and say, "Hey, I'm negative on this position." And then everybody starts selling, and then they automatically just start making money. And I think that what we've seen last year was a combination of that. Now, don't get me wrong, the market did break down, and Doge was going to correct regardless of that. But prior to last year, it's my firm belief that most people had no idea what the hell Dogecoin was. So that's one of the um, things that I would say it takes too long, because like I said earlier, any coin has to hit mainstream first, like before it has like those, especially becoming a top 10. You don't become a top 10 crypto unless you're mainstream. Like that's just like, you're not going to do that privately. You're going to get enough attention at some point generating that kind of volume to be, I don't want to say it's a popularity contest, but it plays a part. So, and I think that with Elon and the situations and stuff like that last year, and the fact that Doge was in the media and stuff like that, this is what made Doge mainstream, which is what you need. Bitcoin kind of has it because it's obviously like a pioneer, or it's the face of the crypto market. So, so in that regard, I think it's a little. I won't say it's not fair to compare it, but Doge and the time frame is a little different because Bitcoin is like I want to say like the father almost of crypto. So yeah, you can say it could be higher, but we have to look at the time frame that we're working with. Doge hit mainstream like literally like last year. Doge hit mass adoption and stuff like that literally since last year. Like 90%, 95%. probably even higher, of all of Doge's accomplishments, all of Doge's adoptions, utility, partnerships, catalysts, all that kind of stuff has happened like literally within like the last 12 months. So if you're looking at the speed of growth, that's how important mainstream and adoption is. And I think that if you look at everything that Doge has done within the last year, it's actually pretty incredible. And compared to people not knowing about it, I guess it existed so you can count it, but you really have to start the progress of a coin from when people know it exists. So if you don't know it exists, then you can't really, I don't want to say you can't count against it, but how are you supposed to get adoption for a coin? If you don't know it exists. So I think that what Doge has done in the last year has been nothing short of remarkable, and that's one of the reasons I'm still very optimistic about this coin, and also curious, so to see like what another year is going to do, what another 2 years is going to be. So I think that we have a very, especially at this rate, we have a very bright future. Let's see. Let's see. Hello, Mr. Mitchell. Happy Saturday. Hello. Hello. Usually I'll be in the club, but I like money this year. Hey, it's okay to change your priorities. It's okay. Why do folks try to kill Doge price action? I have no idea. I have no idea. See, Coinbase is getting class action against them due to hiding fees on securities, listing price, and stuff like that. Yeah, I think a lot of coins and not coins, brokerages and stuff like that are going to have like these kinds of issues because the money, because when it comes down to transactions and stuff like that, like the volatility and stuff like that, it's going to be very profitable, especially these brokerages that literally emerged or have made a fortune within like the last year because people jump in and out of crypto so much compared to stocks. We're going to just pretty much have to keep an eye on like on these lawsuits and see if we should sway the credibility of these different companies and stuff like that. But I do believe we're going to have more of this coming forward, just because typically these brokerages, I don't want to say they skim a little off the top and stuff like that, but typically they'll make some money when you buy and when you sell. In exchange, you're supposed to have like in exchange for that, you're supposed to have like a safe place of storage or execution of order. It's supposed to be, stuff like that. But going forward, we're going to be able to see the integrity of these companies. And I believe this is going to happen a lot because they haven't been put in a position to really just grow and have that massive expansion with financially that they've seen over the last year. So I think this is going to be really important. With Coinbase, I'm going to have to look into like the actual case going forward because I do have an account on Coinbase, but I have to look at the actual the class action lawsuit, and then of course we have to see if they're going to be found guilty of anything as well. I believe that plays a part, but yeah, I just think that's something we're going to have to look forward to because I believe that we've seen these issues with things like Robinhood and other companies. So I think that we're going to see this a lot going forward with these because they basically get paid off of volume. So when we see these spikes and stuff like that, and as the crypto market expands, I believe this is going to become more common. Okay, so I'm gonna refresh my screen here. Hello. Is it a great time to buy right now? I already own a lot. That's a question you're gonna have to decide for you. That's a personal one, but we're gonna have to, you're gonna have to look at like a DCA and decide how many coins you want to own. How long are you on the coin? Like, so what's your price point to sell? Like, it's a lot of variables in that question when it comes down to simply being able to answer that. And I try not to answer it anyway because it's your portfolio, but you're going to have to weigh that a lot of different ways to come up with a concrete answer. Let's see whether it goes up or down. Utility is there as a potential. Like what David said, in times like these, coin count matters and be careful. Only invest what you can afford to lose. This is a fact. Let's see. Do you think Bitcoin will go down once more? I do. It's hard to, timing is going to be a big part just because of what's going on. And then the Feds, and what really frustrated me, and I said this like a week ago, and I felt this because of the Russia-Ukraine situation. I felt that they were going to come out and say 0.25%, even though they know we need to be more aggressive. But I felt like they didn't want that many negative catalysts potentially just pulling on the market, because we're already seeing what the fear of the market is doing, the uncertainty. We're already threatening a bear market to begin with. So I really felt like they were going to come out and say, okay, well, let's try and give this some time to kind of work out. And then when I listened to the speech the other day, he left that door wide open to being more aggressive in the future. So, and this lets me, and I don't believe that these people are stupid, but it's just, I know that, they know that, well, I know that they know we should have been more aggressive initially. But again, we can see, maybe, I can be wrong. So maybe, that 0.25% will start to get inflation under control. Maybe it'll all be well. I doubt it, but we'll see. So this will have a big issue as far as foreign borrowing money, liquidity in the market, whether or not these institutions are going to rebalance portfolios. And that's going to ultimately affect the price of Bitcoin, because people say, oh, well, people will buy Bitcoin and stuff like that. There is, Bitcoin represents like 50-60% of the market, roughly, of the entire crypto market. And if the reason I say institutions play a big part is if the liquidity comes out of the market and these institutions have to rebalance themselves, and crypto is still considered a riskier investment, then retail doesn't have the finances to support Bitcoin at its current prices. So I'm not saying that Bitcoin will crash to zero. Obviously, I believe Bitcoin is going to hit 6 figures, but in the short term, retail does not have the finances to support Bitcoin at its current prices if institutions were to make a move. And that's just facts. Like, I don't believe retail has an extra $500 billion to jump in and keep Bitcoin where it is if they were able to, pull out. So that's why I believe there's the potential there for further breakdown. Let's see. Let's see. Do you think, what you take on Nolan? Do you think it's a great entry price to start a position, or would I be chasing? I actually haven't looked at it. I've seen it in my email and my chat. I haven't looked at it yet. I've seen it on Twitter as well. But based off of the amount of, I don't want to look at it because I don't want to speak prematurely. But I have been seeing it a lot, so it may indeed be chasing. But I'd have to look at it and actually look at what the product is and stuff like that before I can make a concrete decision, because I don't like to just speak blindly. Let's see. You think the Bitcoin? Do you think Bitcoin can still get to 20K ish? I do. Yeah, we're going to have to resolve some of the long-term macro issues before I revise that statement. Pretty much literally nothing has changed. Like, literally, we have no answers for anything that we discussed a month ago, or a month and a half ago. We have no answers on any of that. This was just telling to kind of get an idea of the direction. And of course, the Fed, as they are masters of, they're tiptoeing and moonwalking all around these important issues. So we're rolling this into Q2. Let's see. Maybe inflation is transitory. Maybe this is a long transitory period. It's pretty much what is it called? It's similar to like bending the curve, right? No, flattening the curve. That was the phrase. So maybe like 2 years from now, we'll see inflation become transitory. Greetings from Paris, David. Hello. Say crypto is a threat to the dollar. That's a fact. Let's see. There were 2 Shiba Inus working as greeters at the restaurant tonight in Paris. Is that a good sign? I say so. In my opinion, I don't believe BTC is not being used as fiat, but Doge is. Doge has been accepted more and more businesses. Do you believe that Doge needs to circulate more? Absolutely. Doge's complete survival is going to be tied directly into utility. These catalysts, like, that's one of the reasons I was most excited about AMC, but these catalysts like Doge One, Tesla acceptance, and stuff like that, unless people can actively participate in it on a continuous basis, we're going to have to count that as marketing. The longevity, we're pretty much just going to see spikes from this, but long term, the longevity of the coin is tied directly into utility. That's just, it is what it is. So we're going to need circulation. Like Dogecoin is going to need to be fluid in order to maintain these prices and ultimately hit the numbers that we think it is. So Dogecoin literally needs to, as we push for utility and stuff like that, it's going to be pushed toward being the cryptocurrency of the internet. All right, I'll take a couple more questions. Let's see. Can you do a technical analysis on Bitcoin, whether it's going up or down? I did earlier in the video. I went to like 10 or 15 minutes ago. I don't want to, because Bitcoin is like, it's multifaceted, so I don't want to make the video too long. I'm only going to take like a couple more questions, but I did do it earlier in the video, so you can just kind of skip it back and I go over what's going on with Bitcoin. Let's see, David, 2020, 2021 seemed like the promotion and boom years. Now, this year, 2022, it seems like utility and adoption is the name of the game. What do you think next year, 2023, will mean for Doge? Well, it depends on what the market's going to be. If we're in a recession, it may just be, if you're long on the coin, it may just, for me, it'll just be an accumulation phase. But we have, market cycles. That's literally what it is. After a bear market, we go into a recession and we go into a bear market. It's just like winter and summer. After a bear market, a bull market comes. So, we're really just, and that's one of the things that I've been stating for like the last couple of months was we need to see what the Fed's going to do, because ultimately they literally have, unless we go into like hyperinflation, have a breakdown of the complete economy or something like that, they have control over whether we go into a recession, at least especially like right now, because if worst case scenario, they could ultimately, we'll pay for it later, but they could come out next month and be like, you know what, we're going to crank QE back up, start printing more money, then boom, the markets take off again. So we kind of have to keep an eye on that. So it's kind of hard to say right now, because in my opinion, I don't think that 0.25% is going to work, but we're pretty much in a waiting phase now to see the effectiveness of it. And they're going to gauge their next hike based off of the effectiveness of this 0.25%. So we're going to see how that factors in especially for next month with CPI and stuff like that. I'm really curious to see these energy costs and stuff, because I know the Feds have a funny way of calculating their inflation rate. So I love to see, especially gas going up literally like $1. I love to see how they calculate a 30% increase. They'll probably say it's like 2%, but we'll see. Let's see. What do you think it'll take for the crypto market to decouple from traditional market, or is it just wishful thinking? Well, the only way it would decouple from that is literally if institutions didn't control the market. So that's literally, and we're literally talking about the whales. So, and typically, you have algorithmic trading and stuff like that, and they're going to move in sync, and they have certain percentages that's allocated to crypto, allocated to certain coins. So that's one of the reasons that you see the market sway like that. And then of course you have whales too that have like, I guess in the stock market, they'll have like stop losses and stuff like that. That'll start triggering as you get like those breakdowns, so you can see a continuation of emotion. So that's typically like a couple of the main reasons why markets tend to like dance together. But unless retail took control of the market or something like that, I don't see it decoupling completely. I think there will always be a rhyme between the two. I see. What do you think AMC going this week? I would like to see AMC hit 18. But I know it's been like that a really big battle between like 15 and 16. So I would like to see it hit roughly around 18. I'm planning on doing like a I guess like an update on AMC this week. I know it's been a while since I've done like a specific video dedicated to it, but like that price action is just crazy. Like the manipulation is just wild in that video. I mean, in the price action for AMC. So, but I would like to see 18 this week, because typically that's one of the breaking points that we had on the last run to $63. So I'd be excited if we can get there, just to see if they're going to be able to chop the price back down. let's see, I'll say it this way: the top 20 coins are being used for Ukraine support, but in the article from last night or this morning, Doge was not mentioned. Yeah, I don't know. I have to check, but that'll be really interesting. But at the same time, depending on who wrote the article, we know we're going to have to kind of look at it with a side eye. So, but yeah, that's something to look into. But I'm unaware of, the article or what they're using for Ukraine right now. So I don't want to speak on that too heavily and say something wrong. But so we don't have 40 minutes. Don't want to make the video too long. I just wanted to chat with you guys. Hit the like button, share, subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more from me. I will be back on tomorrow with our regular updated videos. So I appreciate all of you guys for chatting with me. Thank you. Have a good night.